in the paddock, and everyone likes to see a good result for Matt Marsh. Matt Marsh there winning heat race 8 of round 4. We've got heat race 9 coming up now. Only 2 more heat races, and then we'll know exactly who is in the semi-final. It's going to be very tight on points. Now this arguably is one of the nastiest heat races of the weekend. The lineup is truly shocking if you were to be listed in it. It is Stephen Williams, Lewis Manley, Ben Benneyworth, Calum Conway, Lee Hackett, former double British champion, Remy Drasga, Sam Slater, Logan Sougne, Conor Marsh and Owen Burton. So this is going to be a pretty serious one. Now, what makes it added seriousness, because the way the championship's gone this year, the points have been quite spread out. There's been quite a lot of different winners and a lot of people scoring a lot of points. So yes, so whoever wins this next race is going to come through, but there's not enough space for everybody to get a good result. You know, I mean, you could claw a good 5 winners out of that. So that means somebody who could win could be 5th or is going to be 5th or worst, and that would murder their championship. So there's going to be some big relief at the end of this one. Some cracking racing, but also some huge disappointment at the end of it. Some people who look like they could be a shoe-in for the semi-final could find themselves going home at the end of this race. So it is a very, very tough one indeed. There's Owen Burton on screen there. He, of course, has shone throughout this tournament, one of the top British competitors, really up from the midfield, it has to be said. There's Calum Conway behind him. And then back from that, looks like it could be Ben Benneyworth and so on down the order there. That looks like Sam Slater. You can see this sort of yellowy top there. It is actually green, but I think just in the light it's showing up a bit yellow. Sam Slater, he's been one of Britain's representatives in the World Championships the past couple of years. Sam Slater first really noticed, came to prominence in the British Rental Car Championship a couple of years ago, and has since then taken it to the world stage. But this is going to be a very tricky one indeed. Owen Burton is going to be the one leading them out to qualify. So obviously you've got the warm-up lap and then the qualifying lap. So we'll start seeing what sort of lap time is going to be. There's huge pressure there, but Owen Burton is going to be the first one to show us what sort of lap times we're going to be seeing. But this is going to be a very tough race indeed. As I say, the importance of this race is going to be as much about disappointment as it is about sheer result. So there's Sam Slater, and that's like Logan Sougne there. Logan Sougne, one of the Blue Star Racing teams, 12th in the championship last year. He's heading out there. Lewis Manley just taken to the track. There's Lee Hackett leaving the pit lane, and at the back it looks like it could well be Remy Drasga. Remy Drasga, of course, the organiser of the Polish Championship, so anyone who fancies a visit to the Polish Championship, just like the Brkc here, Remy Drasga is your man to talk to down there. Obviously it's going to be a bit difficult to do that right now, and he might not be too interested in talking to you right now, but once the race is done, fancy a trip abroad in the summer. The Polish Championship is always very popular. I believe that Johnny Elliott's due out there this year. I believe there's a couple of other British ones, probably Slater maybe, you know, looking to make a trip out there, possibly even Chris Danes, so we'll see what happens on that one. Greg Smith obviously racing for autism out there. A tough old battle with Tim Andrew.
Yeah, I was literally pushing it every single lap. I knew exactly what Richard Duke was doing. I was watching him when he braked at the first set of tyres, and I thought, right, this is what I'm going to do. And I was absolutely nailed it to the floor and took 8th. And 32.3, what a lap.
Great stuff. Well, Greg, we're now looking at this race here, and we've got Owen Burton just bundled out of the pole position by Lewis Manley, and Conor Marsh has gone fastest. Conor Marsh has gone fastest. Unbelievable. Conor Marsh. Remy Drasga can only make 9th place now. Let's have a look at this. We've got Conor Marsh in 1st place from double British champion Lee Hackett, from potential British champion Lewis Manley, from race winner Owen Burton, from expert international driver, Blue Star team member Logan Sougne, only in 5th place. Sam Slater, Britain's hope in the World Championship for the past couple of years, is a mere 6th place. Ben Benneyworth is 7th. Calum Conway is 8th. International racer Remy Drasga is 9th. And at the back there, it's Stephen Williams in 10th place. My goodness me, this is going to get nasty. This could be the race of races. Disappointment will abound, and I think this disappointment's already started after qualifying. So Conor Marsh is going to lead him round. Obviously, Greg, you must have an opinion on this.
Yeah, I'm obviously disappointed for Stephen because he's part of mine and Robin Kassam's team. But, I mean, he's handling the pressure really well. It's his first outing in the Brkc like me. But all eyes are going to be on Conor Marsh and Logan Sougne.
Logan Sougne. Spanners, what do you read into this? It has to be said, against this kind of competition, it is another surprise by Conor Marsh, who's leading them round.
Well, at this point, is that still a surprise?
It's not now. It would have been 24 hours, well, 26 hours ago now. So, there we go. It's a great start by Conor Marsh, and Conor Marsh leads him away. It's Lee Hackett now, and Lewis Manley all over Conor Marsh. Now, Lee Hackett's going to make a move early, I think, because he's going to want to be away from Lewis Manley, because Lewis Manley is not going to want to be third. This is just going to get pretty heavy, this one, straight away.
Manley's on fire this weekend. He's definitely got the bit between his teeth. Is that a Ferrari set of race suit, though, is it?
Yes, it is on Lewis Manley, who's in third place.
Ooh.
So Conor Marsh leads that opening lap. He's absorbing massive pressure already. Lee Hackett is providing it. Lewis Manley's providing. There's a gap to Owen Burton. Owen Burton has got Logan Sougne all over him with Sam Slater, World Championship regular now for Britain, down in 6th place, and that is the calibre of the field here. Benneyworth's behind him. Calum Conway 6th. Remy Drasga is starting to work towards Calum Conway, so he's got a lot on. And Stephen Williams at the back there. Pretty harsh field here.
Come on, Stephen. Just one place and we'll let you off the hook.
And one place would be against Remy Drasga right now, and that would really be saying something. So Stephen Williams, if you can do it, it'll be an impressive move. Is someone in the pit? Yes. It's Drasga, Remy Drasga. Now, this is interesting. We knew that it was going to be a tough one. Drasga is going to want an early run on his own. The question is, will anyone else pit early? Because this is potentially the sort of race where that might happen.
Well, how much of a threat is Remy Drasga now? Because he was running in 9th place. So for now, Marsh, Hackett, Manley, Burton perhaps don't have to worry. Even Sougne, Slater don't have to really worry about him leapfrogging him in the pits unless there's some real disaster up front.
Absolutely, and well, it's still Conor Marsh with the lead. He was absorbing it well. Lee Hackett is sort of released a bit of pressure there because he was all over the back of Conor Marsh, who leads the way out of the snail section. 0.6 of a second now to Hackett, which is the biggest breathing space he's had as Conor Marsh, and of course Lewis Manley in pursuit. They're trying to break away, but Owen Burton is not letting those leads get away. He's got Sougne with them, so it's a real pressure-packed situation here with Sam Slater right on the back of that tail as well.
I'm going to say even Slater is making up that top 6 and keeping it tight, so it's all to play for at the moment, and the only gap that's threatening to emerge is behind Manley.
Yeah, that's right, and Remy Drasga continues at the rear. He's 15 seconds off the leader, and we'll keep an eye on him about how he's doing lap time. There's Owen Burton. Owen Burton, a real revelation in this championship. He's looking good, and he's running 4th in this exalted company. There's Conor Marsh, another revelation, it has to be said. We've known him for many years as a strong competitor, but midfield. This time, it's leading from the front against double British champion and championship potential, Lewis Manley behind him.
Yeah, and he's now building a little bit of a gap to Hackett. So will Manley end up getting frustrated if Hackett can't keep the pace up front? And then maybe Manley is a candidate for an early pit stop.
I think you've read that absolutely correct,
Thanks.
Spanners. I think Lewis Manley will be the first one to get frustrated here. His eyes are going to be on Lee Hackett, yes, but more importantly on Conor Marsh. No, he's not coming in though. Owen Burton is hanging on really well though to the back of Lewis Manley, and it's still, you know, a 6-car battle for the first place in real terms.
Yeah, I think those 6 people are all in it. If you think about if the split strategies split up this pack and they all go in their different directions, Slater isn't miles away. He's still within 3.2 seconds of that lead battle.
Yeah, and in real terms, that is part of the train, isn't it? You know, it's we may see that split up a little bit later on, but it's certainly not doing so yet. If anything, Conor Marsh is getting even more breathing space. Lee Hackett's coming under pressure now from Lewis Manley. Now, Lewis Manley is probably going to feel this situation out. He's going to feel whether or not he is going to have to pit out of the problem. You identified, Spanners, that Manley may well be the most likely candidate for a pit stop. But my goodness, if you feel that double British champion Lee Hackett is holding you up, you pit around him, that really is saying something, isn't it?
Well, what's Manley done so far this weekend? 3 wins?
Yeah, all Manley has done this weekend is win.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. So he's really got something to show for himself this time. Now, Lewis Manley, he continues round. He's not yet run out of patience with Lee Hackett. I think what he'd like to see is, if he can't pass him, Lee Hackett to actually at least get back up with Conor Marsh, because the crucial thing is they cannot afford to let Conor Marsh get away. That's what happened when Conor won earlier on. They cannot afford to let that happen again.
So what happens to Manley if he pits now? He's up behind Stephen Williams. He's going to catch up to Williams fairly quickly. So unless Conway and Williams start pitting soon, that's when the window opens for the leaders to start gambling. Right now, I think it's going to be too damaging to pit.
Absolutely right. I think it would be a mistake at the moment. They're what, 8.9. The lead's 8.9, so that means real terms 7 or so seconds, 7.5 seconds. Lewis Manley is up on Stephen Williams. It needs to be at least 10.
Bit of a shout out to missed apex man Steve Williams, who has made up a little bit of ground to Conway.
Absolutely, he has. He's what, 1.5 seconds, less than 1.5 seconds behind now.
He was a bit squirrely at the beginning of the race, but he looks to have settled down.
Yeah, he has. It's the gap is closing down. If we have a look at times, he is about well, he's a little bit faster than Calum Conway, so technically he is closing in.
It is worth pointing out that he does most of his karting outdoors, and he bought a white kart suit, so
Calum Conway in, so Stephen Williams does make up the place. Here's Calum Conway. It's an early pit stop by Conway. We'll see how this plays out for him, as he's going to come out right in front of Remy Drasga, and potentially Remy Drasga is going to see that as a problem. This Calum Conway is an example of the drivers that Remy Drasga was trying to pit around, so Calum Conway has kept his speed up to be still ahead of Remy Drasga, international racer, once the pit stop cycled through, so a great job there by the Scots driver.
Everyone on the balcony now getting proper involved in the drama of these last few races. There'll be a few people looking up there and looking down on the likes of Lewis Manley and thinking, you know, what can he do? If he finishes this with 3 wins and a 3rd place, that really does make him one of the strong contenders for a good place in the final.
Absolutely right, and Lee Hackett has gone to 31 seconds, 0.9 on lap times, but he's not the fastest. Conor Marsh is ever so slightly quicker. The fastest in the race is the leader, Conor Marsh, and that lead has now gone to just over 1 second for the first time. There is Conor Marsh, a sterling pace there. There's Lee Hackett, there's Lewis Manley. Now Lee Hackett and Lewis Manley are doing ridiculously fast lap times, but even faster is Conor Marsh. He's set a new personal best, a new race lap record there by the leader, Conor Marsh. Really got the bit between his teeth and clearly out for victory in this one. This is not a case of let's see how long I can stay in the lead. This is definitely a case of I want to win this. I don't care who's behind me. I don't care what they've done before. Reference to me, I am going to take this one, and that will be Conor Marsh's 2nd win of the championship, and surely would be good news in terms of making a place in the semi-final.
No danger at all of Lewis Manley dropping behind Lee Hackett. He's stuck to him through that snail section. And getting alongside down the back straight, we'll probably see Hackett going slightly defensive, Lewis Manley moving to the outside. Hackett's actually not gone that defensive in the end, but he can't shake Manley off.
No, you're right there, and Lewis Manley, a second back from Manley to Burton, so Burton's still with him, Sougne still with Burton really, and there is Sam Slater going through. So we're looking on screen at Conor Marsh, and what a performance by Conor Marsh. Here comes Lee Hackett and Lewis Manley. Slightly surprised that Lewis Manley hasn't either had a shot at Hackett. He hasn't even tried to pull alongside yet. He's sat there with the former double British champion Lee Hackett. He's neither pitting nor really trying to get past as such. There they are, Lee Hackett in the blue suit, Lewis Manley in the red one.
So Slater's kind of dropped off the back of Sougne, and Sougne's also dropped off the back of Burton. So that back-through battle, we thought they were going to stick a lot closer together, but at the moment it's not really even dividing their time, is it? It just looks like Slater hasn't got pace on this particular heat.
I think Slater's doing the best he can, so you're right, that's the pace that Slater can manage. There in 6th place. He is dropping away slightly from Logan Sougne. We're looking at Slater on screen now. You can see Sougne ahead. Sam Slater has been Britain's main representative in the World Championships the past couple of years. In this occasion, it seems the best he can manage is 6th place in this race, but he's competing against people who he regularly races against in the World Championships, such as Logan Sougne. So there's Sam Slater around the snail section there, and Logan Sougne just going out of shot there as Slater comes into view. So Conor Marsh continues to lead, nearly 2 seconds up on Lee Hackett.
You can see Lewis Manley entering the hairpin in the snail section, taking a very wide line, trying to get a really good run at Hackett, but it's just not paying off. He can't carry that momentum into the back straight at the moment to do anything like any real threat. So he must be now thinking, yeah, it's not really working out, but if he pits in now, he does drop in between Benneyworth and Williams, so that window's gently opening up.
Spanners, I've got an interesting question as we watch Logan Sougne there. Logan Sougne, as a driver, as we can see clearly there, the tinted visor, as a driver who specialises in indoor karting, Why would you want a tinted visor?
Just because it looks really, really cool, James.
Because you're not going to be able to see out of it if you actually closed it.
He's got his visor up.
Well, he has, and there's a good reason
Surely
for that.
that's against karting regulations. I've seen the safety video here. It clearly says a finger width.
A finger width, does it?
Finger
so
width.
if Sam Slater was feeling particularly nasty, he might want to protest the finish there, Logan Sougne. Interestingly, though, when you look back at Sam Slater, Slater also, I believe, has a tinted visor, and in this case it's down. So there's Sougne. We can see his visor is up. And if we get into picture with Sam Slater, now Slater will be the next one through. Here's Slater, he's got a tinted visor, but it's down. So clearly there is enough visibility with a tinted visor.
What if there's a pebble?
What?
What if there's a pebble that flicks up? If I was Sougne's mum, I'd be down there right now.
Telling him to put his visor down. Exactly. Yes, he could get a bit of a slap bum for that one. But Sam Slater, though, with the tinted visor lowered, so anyone actually watching that and thinking, you know, why would you race indoor with a tinted visor? Clearly it is possible, because Sam Slater's managed to race with the visor down. However, visor up is in front of visor down, so maybe there's something there. Meantime, Conor Marsh continues to maintain their gap. Now, Lee Hackett is now the fastest on the track. He's just set a record lap for this race. Lee Hackett in second place. Now, Lee Hackett is in the blue suit ahead of the red-suited Lewis Manley. Is he going to make some inroads now? And in fact, Manley's gone with him, so Manley is now second fast in this race. They're trying to chase down Conor Marsh. They brought that lead back to 1.7 seconds. Conor Marsh, a storming getaway, has done enough to create a little bit of a gap, but it seems like he's been reeled in. Could this go to the wire, potentially, for the victory?
Potentially so, but Drasga's early pit stop seems to have come undone as well, because Conway covered him off a few laps later, and now Drasga seems to be stuck behind. Now, talking of helmet chat, I heard that Chris Daines applied to do this race in an open-face helmet for extra intimidation, and rightly the organisers said no, that would be too frightening.
Yeah, I mean, and they're not thinking of the other drivers. I mean, people are actually watching this on telly,
exactly.
And it's going out before 9 o'clock.
Children will see this.
So there's no way they could let Chris Daines go out full beard, is there? There's Lee Hackett. He's running second now. He is the one closing in or trying to. No, Conor Marsh's response has been excellent. Conor Marsh has replied with the fastest lap of the race. Conor Marsh is not giving anything away here. Lee Hackett is having to set record laps to catch Marsh, but as soon as he does set a couple of them, Conor Marsh responds with a personal best and new lap record for this race of his own. There's Conor Marsh. What can we say about this young man? This is the best performance we've ever seen from him, no doubt. He's got a win in the bag already, and you have to say he's a potential winner here. If this was Ruben Boutons, we'd say this was race result.
So what do we think Manley's thinking here? Because clearly now Marsh has got out of Manley's attack zone. So do we think that Manley's thinking, well, out of those two, I was going to catch one of them in the pits. It was too early to pit because there was traffic behind. He's almost settled for second or third.
Well, Manley is sort of one of these sticklers for detail, to be fair. He can tell you what lap he set what lap time on 5 years ago. So Manley will know exactly what's what about it. Quite a studious sort of person is Lewis Manley. And the thing I would say is that this, to me, suggests that Manley is going as quick as he thinks he can. I'm sure he would have already pitted away, because if he went in the pits and came out now, he would not have any problem with anyone. He's clearly ahead of Benneyworth and will be miles behind Sam Slater. So Lewis Manley has the gap to pit now if he was to choose to do so. And the fact that he hasn't probably suggests to me that he's going, oh, he's in the pits, he's in the pits. Here comes Lewis Manley from third.
So there you go, he's stopped a long way back from the marker and he's timed that well.
Yeah,
so he's obviously going for the quickest possible stop. Yep, he's managed to get away there. I think that's going to end up being a good stop and give him every chance to leapfrog Hackett.
Yes, it was. It was 10 and a bit second, that, I think, given it's a 42 second point two. I think we're allowing 10.5 seconds on that pit stop there. So a great stop by Manley. Really, that means the pressure will be on for it to match that by Lee Hackett. Lee Hackett is going to do 10.5 seconds or better if he wants to stay ahead.
Well, he stayed out for the minute. So he's past the pits. And now he's going through the snail.
Now, the fastest person on the track is Lewis Manley. Lewis Manley has the lap record on the track at the moment. And there he is. We can see him in the red suit there. This in the pits, it's 21. That is Stephen Williams.
There he goes in his all-white suit. And is he going to come out ahead of the number 15 car, which is the leader? He has interfered with the leader quite considerably there, Stephen. Mind you, I did tell him off for being too polite on the blue flags yesterday. He's obviously taken that to heart.
And in this occasion, yeah, absolutely, Spanners. This occasion, Conor Marsh has managed to get ahead. But if there was any delay there, we're going to see it, because Lee Hackett, last time through, was 2.2 seconds behind Marsh. If there's a difference, you can bet your life it'll be down to that moment there with Stephen Williams coming out the pits. Now, the thing for Stephen Williams is he can't disappear. You know, he's got to be somewhere. He hasn't done anything really to hold Conor Marsh up. It's just the sort of laws of physics of it, you know?
I think he didn't try hard enough, and he held him up loads.
And it's allowed Lee Hackett half a second there. So Lee Hackett now is 1.7 seconds behind Conor Marsh. Obviously, that's not, you know, too much of a disaster, and certainly Stephen Williams couldn't have done any more about it. You know, he's you know, he's in existence, isn't he? I mean, that's the tall and short. He is in existence, and so there's nothing Stephen could have done about it. But here comes Lewis Manley down the backstretch. He's on his own, and we'll see what he's doing for lap times. He's continuing to be fast. He's among the fastest. Conor Marsh was quickest on that lap, but Lewis Manley is setting a storming pace. 13, Owen Burton. Sorry, Spanners, carry on.
All right, Burton.
Yeah. Burton.
He's come out on his own. He's done that pit stop, and now number 8 is into the pits as well. That's Benneyworth. A nice, smooth pit stop. He's going to come out in front of the battle between Conway and Brkc, and be very much in that. So that's a three-way fight for 7th.
Absolutely. Now, Remy Brkc is, you know, you'd have to assume that Brkc would get past Conway a bit earlier than he has, but the Scottish driver, Owen Sougne in the pits. Logan Sougne pitting out of 4th place. Well, it's allowed Slater to go through, so he's dropped to 4th. He's dropped behind Manley as well, and he's dropped behind Owen Burton. So Logan Sougne has dropped behind Owen Burton. He's currently in 6th place, having made a pit stop. We're looking for pit stops now from 1st place Conor Marsh, 2nd Lee Hackett, and 3rd Sam Slater. Slater's moved up to 3rd in that round of pit stops.
Here's the leader into the pits. He thought his engine had stalled there for a second, but it just kicked back into life. And yeah, he was slapping his engine there. He had turned around to try and do what Medart had to do in the last race, which is turn around and start his engine again. And I think it's the same car.
Well, I think he was ready to jump on it and start it, but you know, he needs to make sure he doesn't get flustered. Now is not the time for freaking out, because Lewis Manley is closer than he ever has been.
So now is the time to start freaking out, because Lewis Manley is closer than he ever has been.
Well, if he does freak out, he'll lose that position. It's as simple as that. So he needs to stay the cool, calm, collected Conor Marsh he was when he was leading out. Right, Lee Hackett.
He's going smooth so far. He's gone through that first checkpoint pretty well, and he's taken a big gamble on the green. He started a long way back, and he's come out in 1st place. And he's come out in front of... I'm going to be quiet until... Yeah, he has come out in front of Conor Marsh.
He has. That was a sub 10-second stop there by Lee Hackett. Conor Marsh, it was more like 12.
I wasn't expecting that so much that I had to just stop and check.
Absolutely.
I couldn't quite believe it.
Yeah, and it's all been on that pit stop. Conor Marsh 12 seconds with a bit of a problem, it seems, but Lee Hackett has taken the lead, and this is a straight-up fight now. So what's Conor Marsh going to do here? He is 2nd, but it's Lewis Manley who's going to provide the action, I think, in 3rd. Sam Slater has the lead at the moment, so we're waiting for a pit stop for him. But Sam Slater, Britain's hope in the World Championships these days, is currently leading this race, though he's yet to make a pit stop. So your real leader there, you know, when Sam comes in, will be Lee Hackett from former leader Conor Marsh and Lewis Manley. Now, Lewis Manley is 3rd, but you know Lewis Manley wants to be 1st. They're getting defensive. Manley's the only one who's not, but he's the only one who can see everything.
Hackett looked out of it as far as the win went. I thought this was going to be down between Marsh and Manley. And in the pits now is number 20, Sam Slater. So he's going to give up the lead back to Hackett, Marsh and Manley, and should come out in a net 6th.
Yeah, that's pretty much where he was running before anyone stopped. So Sam Slater back where he was, but I think he might be a fraction closer to Logan Sougne. And behind Slater by some margin is Benneyworth, so he's got no trouble behind. But up in the lead there, look down the backstretch, there they are. There's Lee Hackett with the white helmet, and Conor Marsh. There's 1 minute 14 to go, and this is possibly going to kick off. Lewis Manley, has he got anything to offer from 3rd place? We don't really see too much crazy drama from Lewis Manley, but it could come from Conor Marsh, because he wants to make himself a double winner. He's going to have to pass double British champion Lee Hackett to do it with less than a minute to go.
I don't think anybody is going to beat Manley on results, even with first and 3rd, and lots of contact in the battle at the back between Benneyworth. He's been shoved out of the way. Conway and Brkc have both gone through after a lot of sound that I heard at the bottom, so I'm assuming there was a lot of contact.
Absolutely, they've got the flag out. It's going to be Lee Hackett who wins from Conor Marsh and Lewis Manley. What a result there by the double British champion, the former double British champion. Lee Hackett did his British titles in the British Rental Kart Championship back in 2012 and 2013. It's his full intention to be the champion in 2019 as well. There's Conor Marsh. What a show from him. It was purely down to pit stop that Conor Marsh lost that lead. And, you know, Lee Hackett did everything he needed to do to win there and back in the pits. And there's Lee Hackett coming down the pits. A fantastic victory there for the former double British champion as they come in. And, well, there's Conor Marsh. He's pointing about something, he's waving away, but there is Lewis Manley. I think he's resigned to having done everything he could. Owen Burton fourth and Logan Sougne fifth, and there's Sam Slater behind them. So we're going to be going down the pits to Spanners, see what he has for us.
Well, that was quite a surprising victory. I'm sure Lee won't be offended when I speak to him in a second to say that I thought that was between Lewis Manley and Marsh, and then you've ruined it. You've popped out of nowhere.
Not quite ruined it for me. That was brilliant. I don't know. I've heard that Conor's engine cut out in the pits, so to be honest, he had won that race in my opinion if that hadn't happened. But me and Lewis, we were close. It was close for second. I came out of the pits so surprised because I saw Conor's helmet behind me. I was like, what's happened here?
Everyone was surprised. The commentary team stopped talking because we thought we'd made a mistake. In that early phase, though, Lewis Manley was right behind you. Were you both flat out?
Yeah, we'd had a discussion beforehand and said, let's try and build a gap on the people behind. And so, although I wasn't full defensive, I was still in slight defensive mode because Lewis was trying to win it like me. And I was worried that he was going to lunge, and Conor had built a bit of a gap, so I knew it was between the two of us.
What about the rest of the weekend, Lee? What can you do?
Oh, it's been brilliant so far. A definite semis. Well, I think I've made those, and we'll see what we can do in that for the final.
Good luck, good race win, however it came about. Let's have a quick word with Lewis Manley while we're here. Were you flat out chasing Lee there in the beginning part of the race before the pit stops?
So definitely, yeah. I was flat out all the way, to be honest.
So he wasn't holding you up at any point?
No, absolutely not. Because before we started, I thought, let's go in like this, so let's get going, so they do not hold each other up. So when I saw I had clear chance to pit and then I can get out and clear air, that's what I exactly did. And my pace was very good all the way because the car really felt good.
So you've had 3 wins and a 3rd place. You must be thinking you can sneak a tournament victory.
Hopefully, 2 wins and a 2nd and a 3rd is what I've had. So yeah, but hopefully, I know I'm in the semi, which I'm comfortably in, so hopefully I can have another good result and hopefully be in the final, and hopefully also to be top in the points rankings.
Good luck, Lewis Manley. Well, I think we've seen a great race there with 2 guys that are probably going to be in the final. We really are getting onto the business end of things now. Back up to you, James.
Fantastic. Well, that really was an epic race there and an epic result for former British champion, double British champion, Lee Hackett. Obviously, he's showing he's got all that form. He didn't actually set the fastest lap of the race in the end. That did go